that okay right now? You got it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I've been looking very much forward today presentation webinar, because foreign nationals, we can say it is in prison and under probation, present major challenges. And obviously, it's not solely on French issue, nor a European one. And with the increase of international travel, sure, we got COVID, so everything is on hold for a while now, but we are talking about over the last 10, 20 years, and migration, and judging by the turn-up and at this webinar, it has become a concern for countries all over the world, a problem to our respective prison system and probation services, both in terms of reintegration, social reintegration, and for our colleagues on in their day-to-day work. So it raised challenges such as language barrier, cultural differences, activities during imprisonment, coordination of post-release. We just saw it with Velusa and TIGS, and post-release measure with different authorities, and the list goes on. So I would like to acknowledge my colleagues for the Statistic Bureau for the help here collecting all those data, because really help, and space team knows very well it can be tricky to get data, and it's kind of really challenging sometimes. So talking about space 1 and space 2, about penal statistic across 47 states across Europe allow us to compare ourselves and with other member states, and in particular with countries close to us, geographically, demographically, and economically, such as Italy or Germany. And this comparison can serve us as a basis to identify the points on which we are performing well, and those on which we could do better to reach the level of our neighbors. So I know, and we very know that is a huge task, and Professor A.B. and your team, thanks very much for this incredible job. It can be really challenging. And Melanie, for example, make sure to be able to compare what's comparable. sometimes, it can be, for example, detainees sentence or not sentence. In our case in France, you got inmate and inmate, actually it's kind of sentence people under electronic monitoring, but where do they fit? Does it fit on space 1 or space 2? Because they live amongst the general population. So I'm going to break down my presentation in 2 parts, basically. The first part dedicated to a French overview, a quick French overview related to foreign nationals, and the second part to answer any question, future direction and impact on policy and practices. So we can see on this slide, between 2000 and 2020, the number of foreigners held in prison has increased about 1.5 times. And over the first 10 years of this period, this number was relatively stable. And this increase in a proportion means it's a significant issue for prison management, and with a high profile and sensitive area with political attention. This can be really touchy over here in France. Next slide. Right now, this line here, we can compare as January 1st, 2020, we can see 23.2% of those detained were of foreign nationality. This figure is clearly disproportionate comparing to the share of foreigners in the French population, which stood at 7.6%. And several factors can be put forward to explain this phenomenon. Because mainly because they come from the poorest social classes, and these classes are overrepresented in the prison space in general manner speaking. And second point can be because the increased use of pretrial detention or immediate appearance increase for foreigners. talking about pretrial detainees, in the judge, because they got no way, the foreigners, to prove to say, okay, this is where I live, So usually because of this risk of absconding, they rely on this overuse of pretrial detention. And if we break down geographical kind of repartition, where they're coming from, we can see most of them, over 50%, come from Africa, but pretty, you cannot underestimate this part of 33% coming from Europe, and even Europe, and it's not as I pay on this slide here, but so over about 5,000 people coming from Euro countries. And non-European foreigners make up about 11,500, or probably 60% of total foreign national population. Space two, regarding the use of non-custodial measures, right now, this slide, we can see definitely foreign nationals are underrepresented in community sanction and measures when it comes to the use of alternative to imprisonment. They definitely, because of the same reason I was talking previously a few seconds ago, no way to come up and kind of guarantee. And because of the status, it's hard to get a job, everything. So the prison, unfortunately, most of the time, the answer for the offense. So, talking about space one and space two, and what's the trend, where we're going, where our friends are going right now, and what's the policy? Sure, there's a circle of you got a foreigner, he's got a legal status, he's got a residence of permit and commit an offense, and while he's in prison, this kind of his residence permit expired. So it's a issue. It's kind of right now, it's kind of a coordinated approach with the Ministry of State, Ministry of Justice, involved stakeholder, how to work out and the situation can be really tricky. And how can we talk about reintegration when it's kind of the first, the alpha, it's kind of the legal status. Another point of focus, kind of the removal of foreign detained person in a regular situation following the completion of the sentence. Same again, coordinated approach, work together, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of State, and penitentiary administration, kind of make sure, kind of able to identify as soon as possible those people and use wisely this time to work out the next move for them. In relation with a foreign detained person with their consular authority. So those are mentioned, this EU legal instrument, it's a tool like this transfer agreements of called several countries. So you got the framework decision 909, for custodial measures, the framework decision 947 for non-custodial measures, probation service, and alternative sanction, and finally for pretrial detention. The last one, framework decision F808-9. So how is it going on right now? It's a trend. But make sure you have to be aware of these figures. Like Louisa was saying, it's very hard to get them. So it's just an estimate in 2019, yeah, as an execution state here, France just executed 96 FD 909 and issue only 48. And when I said a few seconds ago, it's about probably between 4,000 and 5,000 EU foreigners in May coming from EU. So we can see definitely there's still room for improvement. If we talk about framework decision 947, probation measures, we are not doing good at all, but we got room for improvement. Yeah, just 65 in and out 9. Just remember, you have to be aware. I say just an estimate with a manual count from our colleagues and the jurisdiction. So basically, what I want to say and to emphasize here. Statistic is useful because sure it allows us to compare each other how we are doing among, and not just rank us, but it's kind of compare what's the trend. And we don't know, it's hard, we never know what the future has in store for us, yeah. But the trend coming when it comes to foreigners inmates, yeah, it's about fighting recidivism, work on the reintegration, and maybe the trend right now in France is probably might be best, yeah, to work out some kind of plan, yeah, for the reintegration back to their home. That's all I want to say. The floor is back to you, Oli.
Daniel, thank you ever so much.